Well, hello, welcome back. We are continuing talking about our URL shortener application. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the deployment kind of things. We are specifically going to look at creating a virtual host in Apache2. Now, if you haven't followed before this, and all you need to do is create a virtual host in Apache2, you're going to be able to see this and should be able to just dive right into it. It's actually fairly straightforward. So what we're going to do is over in our Apache world, and let's do this. If you look at, and this is on a Debian server, you may be on something a little different. It's going to look, it'll be vary a little bit, but effectively what you're going to do is you're going to find for your Apache, where are the config files? Some of the easiest ways is probably just go look for apache2.conf, and you should see the ones that are conf available, enabled, and then also sites available and sites enabled. So what you want to do is you want to go into sites enabled, and you are going to create a little conf file. Now let me get this over here where it's probably a little easier to understand because I want to walk through this. Now by default, now this one thing, this is going to assume that you have a port 80, which is your standard connection HTTP, and port 443, which is going to be your typical HTTPS. And there are ways that we can really work with this stuff, but for now, we're going to keep it fairly straightforward. Because what we want to do here is we're going to say, hey, for our server, which has an IP address, which is, I think, this thing somewhere. I got to go find it. Somewhere out here. I'll go see. Let's see. Let's do this real quick. So it is. So I have this server out there. And let me go back to here. I want to show that real quick. So if I go out to my server, and I go to HTTP, that email, or I'm sorry, that IP address, then I'm going to get this thing that's at the root. And that's not what I want. What I actually want is when I go to this server, I want to go to see this page. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to do a redirect. We're going to say, if you come into the site, into the server, with the server name dplnk.us, which is what I want to, this is my domain name, then, or www.dplink.us. If either of those come in, then I'm not going to run the normal one. I'm going to run the one that comes off of off of this folder. So that folder is going to exist here. If I go look at that, var www shorty, you're going to see that there are some files here. That's where I'm going to. Otherwise, by default, it's going to go to var www html, which is just a simple index page. And if I do that, at least I think it is, I may have a default setup. It's a little different. HTML. No, okay, I actually have a default already set up this. So this is a little more complicated, but that's neither here nor there. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this is where our site is. So if I put like an index.html here, var www.shorty/index.html, that is where I'm going to get redirected if I come into my server here, using this name on this port. So if I go HTTP, I'm going to go here. If I also, and we're going to see down here, I'm basically copying this stuff because HTTPS also, if it's dplink.us, it's going to go to this folder. So whichever one I do, I'm going to go ahead and send them here. Now I do have a little bonus here, is that, it is a separate one to set up the certificates for HTTPS. So I'm really just setting you up for the redirect right now. There'll be another time we can talk about. We'll have another one where we'll talk about actually setting up the keys and actually using the certbot and Let's Encrypt and getting that stuff set up. That's a slightly different one. So this won't, if you do this straight up and have not done anything else with your server, you're going to run into some issues here. But you can find default PEM file, so you can set it up by default, but it's probably easier to just search our stuff and find setting up HTTPS on Apache 2, and you'll be able to set that up. Now, what we've got here as well, got some additional stuff. So we're saying, hey, we're going to put into dperror.log. This is we're going to log stuff to this specific domain. So if I go look at the Apache logger, which happens to be, I think it's var log. And can I get in here? Nope, I have to sudo. It's one of those funny things about Apache. It likes to be root level. So if I go, if I go here, I can see where I've got, so this is my standard error log, but I also have one specifically for this site. So if I come into dplink.us, this is where my log's going to go. Now my access log, it's just going to use the normal access log. But for errors, and this is my custom log, and so here's my error logs, it's just going to go to this different one. Rewrite is basically just saying, hey, if I've got either of these names that come in, then I'm going to change it. So it's going to be dplink or dp. It's going to use, it's going to use this name. So regardless, it's going to use this. If I wanted my server to name to be something like my server dot, then it would actually rewrite and I would see my server.dplink.us up here instead of dplink.us. And then all I need to do once I have built that out, I'm going to put that in my, let's see, where did I change that? Okay, so I just changed that. And I am going to place those, and they should be wherever my config files lived. And for Apache 2, you're going to have two folders. So you're going to have sites available. So if I do sites available, I'm going to see that I have my shorty config there. I'm also going to have it in sites enabled. And I'm going to see it there. And all I have to do at that point is do a restart of my Apache, which I believe, I forget which one. It's going to be, I don't have it. Let's see. Oh. I think I'm still root. I am. Let me switch back here. Whoops. You have to run it as a root, I think. Oh, I don't have it there. It may be too far back in my history. Yep, okay, it's too far back in my history. Apologies. Actually, let me go look real quick because I don't want to do it. So that's admin. Okay. Who am I? There we go. And now if I do history, grab Apache, that's probably who I am. There it is. There we go. So I'm going to do a sudo, and you can check that another time if you don't know what sudo is. It's basically just saying, hey, as root, because I need to run as a root user to be able to restart systems, system level things. And this will be a little different again, depending on what your operating system is. But then all you're going to do is you're going to use, in this case, we use a system control, restart, and then Apache 2. So if I do that, it's going to restart my server, and then boom, I'm going to be able to come in here. If I go to this, if I come in here, then it's going to be able to send me to this page, as opposed to if I did just the IP address, it gives me a whole different location. And I don't remember if this is, I don't know if that's, and yeah, so that HTTP does not redirect. Oh, so you can also look. So if I go http://dplink.us, you're going to see it's not secure. It's not going to force it. But if I come HTTPS, I'm still going to get to the site, but I'm going here. So I'm not actually forcing it. That's another thing you could do is you can actually do, you can do a redirect. And you can actually do a rewrite and rewrite it as an HTTPS. So I could come in here and force everything to go HTTPS. I do not want to do that And we'll talk about that when we talk about the API, because I'm not doing an SSL on our little API because it's something I feel like we don't really need to secure. We're not sending passwords across or anything. So we're going to leave it like this. And that's going to allow us in our mappings that when we come in, we'll be able to do an HTTP with the port for the API. Because we've opened that up, we're going to specifically go and we'll be able to see our API. And that will be a slightly different one. But this one I wanted to cover right here is it's very simple to do virtual hosts. You can do this for as many sites as you want. If you want to see this server, the exact same thing. I think you may have noticed I have a Scrum for Everyone out there. So if you go Scrum for Everyone, it goes to this one, which looks very familiar. That's the page we just hit a little bit ago. And that is also, it's on the same site, and you can see, oops, if I go back over to the site here, then if you want to go back and see, let's see, Etsy, Apache2, sites enabled. If we look at the Scrum for Everyone, we will see that this one, if you come in as scrumforeveryone.com, it's going to redirect to a different folder. And we can actually even see here, we can see where we have a rewrite rule where we said, hey, whatever they come in as, we're going to rewrite it to HTTPS, // blah, 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 server name, all that good stuff. And so it's going to force them over here to the HTTPS. So that is creating virtual hosts in Apache 2. Again, very straightforward. It may seem complex, and sometimes it's a little intimidating the first time around, but once you get going, it's really easy. And the next thing we'll talk about, or one of the things we'll talk about, is also creating that SSL certificate, a way to do it free so you don't have to spend 100, 150, whatever it is, bucks a year or more to get an SSL certificate. It is a very good, using CertBot, excellent way to use a certificate, fire it up, you're off and running, and you don't have to pay money, which is always a bonus. As always, if you have any questions, shoot us an email at info@developreneur.com, and we'll do our best to help you walk through it. If you have any requests for future shows as well, send something at the same place, or there's a contact form on the Developreneur website. You can sign up there and get some information from us. Always happy to reach out, or other thing, leave comments down in the show notes, and we'll do our best to get those turned around as fast as possible to help you if you run into any snags. Thanks a lot, and have yourself a great day.
Well, hello, this is Rob with Developreneur, also known as Building Better Developers. Wanted to announce that we have school.developreneur.com. Feel free to check it out if you like any of this information, any of the content that we've sent, and you would like to see more. You can come out, you can enroll for free. We have free courses. We've got places for you to get better at just learning a technology, our how-tos. You can work on your business skills. We can help you with becoming a better developer, as in coding and things like that. A lot of the stuff you've seen on YouTube, we also have out at school.developreneur. We just have it in a little more of a educational format and a way for you to track your progress as you move forward becoming a better developer.